Bienvenidos a Vox Terra. Today, Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. And I want to juxtapose some headlines that should be amplified, should be screaming news, and contrast them in such a way that I think you'll begin to see what I think is really driving him. Start with a headline from Electrek. Florida's governor just locked Florida into a dirty fossil fuel future. Now, when you say the word dirty, you gotta add a Cockney accent. By Michelle Lewis, June 23rd of 2021. Next, let's move on to Open Secrets. Governor Ron DeSantis on pace to break gubernatorial fundraising record by Taylor Giorno, August 16th of 2022. His political operation raised $165.6 million since 2019. Now you got in your head defending fossil fuels. You got in your head tons of money coming in. And now next, from the Florida Phoenix, rising from the ashes, DeSantis, avoiding the word climate change, says global warming concerns involve left-wing stuff. By Laura CASSELS, December 7th of 2021. So let's start looking at that bill he sponsored, that locking in dirty energy future. From Electrek, he signed this bill called Preemption over Restriction of Utility Services into Law. And what that rather benign sounding name implies, according to Electrek, and they're citing Miami Herald and other environmentalists, it's basically blocking any local municipalities from declaring 100% clean renewable energy because it restricts them from banning fossil fuels and insisting on those other energy sources for their electricity. And it's preemptive, like think about George W. Bush's preemptive strike on Iraq, as he called it, because no Florida municipalities have actually banned natural gas in their energy mix. And like George W. Bush's invasion of Iraq is preemptive, it also represents a commitment to fossil fuels. Now that article cites the Miami Herald again. The law also prevents local governments from prohibiting natural gas fracking, nullifies their solar permitting ordinances, weakens Southeast Florida's climate compact, ends renewable energy grant programs, and eliminates county authority over pipelines along roadways. So now here, think about a lot of this anti-government stuff, right? They're preventing local governments from restricting pipelines. They're preventing them from trying to keep the public's, maybe their water cleaner and safer. Remember, fracking, the battle over fracking isn't just about slowing down the superheating of our planet, which is destabilizing everything. It's also about keeping the groundwater clean and free from toxic contaminations. And ironically or coincidentally, however you want to put it, with these rising sea levels along Florida and other places, groundwater is also at risk, not just from fracking chemicals, but from something called saltwater intrusion. And the Sunshine State has also been one of the places with battles against solar energy. Now let's take it back to those money interests, those financial interests here. Electrek points out that the Florida Natural Gas Association was a backer of this bill. And I went back to Open Secrets and took a look at DeSantis's campaign donations from the time when he was in Congress. And sure enough, I saw some of his top donors as being those organizations or individuals cited by a group called DeSmog as being those responsible for either funding climate science disinformation or blocking solutions to environmental problems and the transition away from fossil fuels. Included there, the infamous Koch brothers or Koch industry, infamous among environmentalists yet barely talked about in the mainstream or so-called conservative news media. Also the Club for Growth, Federalist Society, both cited by DeSmog. Well, one result of all this pro-fossil fuel money pouring into the Sunshine State Republicans, Florida, according to Electrek, ranks number 3 in the U.S. out of its states for carbon emissions. And lastly, let's just wrap it up with that concept about DeSantis kind of smearing environmentalists, saying it's part of this left-wing stuff. Well, the Florida Phoenix points out on the same day he made that dismissive comment against activists, the Florida Public Service Commission approved millions in rate hikes for electricity and natural gas customers. So when they say environmentalists are part of a plot of some type, really, I'd say au contraire, mon frère. The plot is just the opposite. Those trying to smear environmentalists are using an age-old tactic of just vilifying by calling someone a socialist or a communist or a leftist without really clarifying what those terms mean in the first place. And they are masking their own hidden agendas to defend a particular entrenched industry. Well, hey, I hope you found this video helpful. interesting? If so, useful? If so, please make sure you're subscribed. You click the notification bell so you know when I'm putting up a new video. You're liking, you're commenting, you're donating a Patreon. These shows are a lot of work and very time consuming. Thank you, Bella Lagrissi and Environmental Coffee House. Remember, at this stage, YouTube's not sponsoring me. They put up ads. I don't get compensated. And as always, until next time, peace be with you.